It's really where we talk about things that we're just trying to figure out.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Kim Ray, and I'm back with Nisi. And we're back for another episode. Let me get my words together.
Take your time.
Of hashtag JTFIO, or just trying to figure it out. And we are here to talk about independence as another episode of this adulting series. Okay. All right, so I grew up under a single mom who was teaching independence. She was not teaching dependence, okay? Mm-hmm. It was just fully independent. We don't need nobody. We making it happen. You go do this. What happened was, as I got into my young adult years, I started realizing I can't handle all this stuff. Mm-hmm. It's too much. Like, you taught me to be independent. I don't know how you did it with 3 kids. The cold reality is I cannot do it.
With a dog.
Another reality is that's okay. It's okay that you cannot do it.
Yep.
We are not supposed to be built like my mom having 3 kids as a young adult. That's not ideal. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I feel like we were raised as Black people. We were raised under all this strength. Okay, these Black mothers and Black parents and single Black moms who are, taking all this on and fighting all the odds. And now it's like we in our 20s, we don't have kids, we're in college. Like, y'all don't really have experience in the whole, like, you did everything right. Now what? So independence, I feel like, means something else other than just like financial freedom and just like being able to pay for everything. What does independence mean to you?
So aside from that, I would say it's kind of making social decisions. Mm-hmm. It plays a big part in who you surround yourself with. Mm-hmm. I choose to surround myself with people who are, I want to say, in similar situations as me. Mm-hmm. I feel like when I came to Texas Southern, it got a lot better because everybody in class was trying to do something with themselves, opposed to just going to class.
Right.
So, I gained a lot of friends through that. Train of thought out the door.
I think you be thinking about this camera, girl. This camera is not here.
I don't even be thinking about that. It's just I be talking and then I forget where I'm going.
And it'd probably be good too.
You ever walk into a room and forgot why you walked there?
All the time, but I'm old. You're 23. So that happens to be a lot, but I just be like, you're 30. You're in the Dirty 30 Club. But we'll get there. We'll bring it back. We'll get the topic back. I just think we're talking about independence. Mm-hmm. We're talking about, choosing who you want to be around. That's very important because in high school, most people, they grow up with the same people from elementary to middle to high school. That didn't happen with me because I was military, but pretty much the same people that you're around. And then if you stay in that town, then you stay around that mentality.
You get comfortable.
Yeah. So then when you go to college or you move to a whole new city that we'll talk about in a different episode, you start to choose your friends. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you moved here to Houston and you center yourself around like-minded people who are going somewhere, I think it's important. But I don't want to brush past the fact that you were conscious of that and decided, like, I'm choosing who I want to be around me.
That's a trait that I've always had. It's just in some situations when we were younger, if we had like a childhood friend, our moms would become friends. Mm-hmm. And even those times, like, if I no longer, because I pick up on a lot of things, and if it's one thing that, like, I feel like I don't know if I want to be friends with you anymore. Mm-hmm. The only connection I have is that our moms are still friends. Yeah. So there would be some times where I even tell my mama, like, look,
I'm not cool with this girl.
I don't want to be her friend no more. Mm-hmm. You can still do what you want to do, but I don't want to be her friend no more. Mm-hmm. And so that's something that I feel like I really always had. But when I got to undergrad, it was situations where I had to be around certain people all the time just because this is where we are, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So you just kind of put up with that and tolerate it. And like you said, once I got here, just based on the resources that TSU has and things like that, like, I know a lot of people have their own opinions about the grad program. But if y'all understand, I'm not one of those people. If y'all understand like where I came from,
you keep saying that
because y'all don't understand.
You keep saying that. I mean, I feel it. You don't have to share on the podcast, but I feel like when you come from somewhere that was just like melee and just chaos, I get the appreciation for the program. But me coming from the military, I ain't impressed. Okay. But no, I feel you on that. But I also feel like in the same breath, you know, you always being conscious of that, there's people in the program that you could have chose to hang out with, or where it could have went a different way. You know, so I feel like there's so much power in being like, I see what y'all on. I'm not doing that. At 23, a lot of people don't have that, and I think people need to understand, if you don't have it, somebody 23 right here telling you, somebody 30 right here telling you, you gotta get this under your belt sooner rather than later, because your life is gonna go through so much turmoil based on who you center yourself around, just your mindset, period. There's people who, you know, if you come from just chaos and just mess, then you start to spew that as yourself, and then that gets onto other people, and then y'all become a whole little clique that's just so consumed.
And nobody wants to work with nobody.
Nobody wants to work, and then you get older faster, just in your mind, your face, you get wrinkles.
Even like until y'all brought it to my attention, a lot of my friends are 27 and up, and that's just like, even like when dating, I don't date nobody my age or younger, because you don't know what you're doing. But I feel like, in a sense, if I hang out with older people who have already been through some of the things, not even that they had to go through anything that I've potentially will go through or have gone through, it's just the fact that if I'm getting this knowledge from y'all, and y'all are 30 now and I'm 23, that's nothing but more wisdom for me.
But how do you avoid the whole, when I was, I hate this saying, but when I was your age, I hated when people would try to be like, well, you know, when I was your age, I would have did it this way. And then it was like, I would not listen to that and go on my own path, because it's just like, but I'm not you.
I don't think people, because times have changed, I don't think nobody's ever like push their opinion on what I should do. It's more of, I guess it's my approach of talking about whatever I want to talk about, because I could tell you something and you'll probably tell me what you've done in that experience, but I'll also go tell it to 2 of my other close friends, and then I could possibly combine all of y'all's situations together and come out with a new little outcome. Did
you find it difficult to like be able to find your voice in it all? Because with the way that I growing up under, you know, a really vocal mother and grandmother, like a lot of the ways that I felt about things was literally their words coming out of my mouth. So when I moved out on my own, it was hard for me to figure out, like, what do I like? So how do I feel about this?
You saying like from my family?
Just period. Just when you speak up about stuff, have you differentiated between, I feel this way, my mom taught me this, but now like this is how I feel?
So growing up, like, my mama or my daddy, because I was a 2-parent household, nobody forced me to do anything. And I feel like that's a really good thing to have, because I was able to explore and do things on my own and find out what I liked and what I didn't like, even though I didn't understand like what that was at the time. Now I really just choose happiness over everything, literally. If it don't make me happy, you can't be here.
Right.
That's what friends.
That's funny. You said that about work.
I was remember when I was like, I said it about friends.
I'm so stressed. You were just like, quit. I was just like, brr.
If it don't make you happy, it gotta go, because
life is short.
And I feel like if you continue to do something that doesn't make you happy, you forcing yourself to be there. And when I learned all of this from working 3 weeks in debt collections.
Bruh. But
3 weeks.
That'll do it. You said the woman was like, my daughter just got shot.
That was hell on earth. I felt like, I don't know what I felt like. It was times where, first of all, I had to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning.
And you was not.
You just called me and I woke up at 12. So I wasn't feeling the waking up in the morning. They told us we had to wear business clothes, but then when I get there, people in gym shorts, and I'm just like, this is unorganized, unprofessional. You got managers yelling at you, talking some kind of way, and you got like you handling people federal business and stuff like that. I don't like all that kind of stuff, and it got to the point where like on week three, day 2 out of 4, I woke up and I was like, damn. I just started crying because I was like, I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah.
And then I talked to one of my friends, and she was like, I can tell that you unhappy.
But did you, this is important too, so pay attention, turn it up. Did you just be like, I don't like this, I quit?
I thought about it. Well, I was still looking for jobs in the meantime. And
can you say that part again?
I was still looking for jobs in the meantime. I still worked at JCPenney as well.
And so
on top of this was my first, what drew me into this was my first full-time job, and it had benefits.
And you felt like I'm business casual, I'm waking up in the morning like an adult.
Yeah.
Like an adult.
I felt like having a full-time job with benefits was something that people who live by themselves should have. So that way.
Because that's what we've been coded to think.
Yeah. And I started like, after a while, I started to hate it. And so I started to show up like, with sweatpants and a regular t-shirt on.
Yeah.
Because that's what other people were wearing. You can't expect me to care about this place if the people around me don't care.
Right.
And so the people there, I kept telling them, I was like, I'm not really feeling this. This is not for me. And this is just like coworker talk. And all of them, instead of asking me like what made me want to leave, they all just kept saying, just stick it out. It's quick money. You can make this. They got other people here in school. They just here to get the money. You ain't got to worry about bonus, and you ain't got to worry about none of this. And I'm just like, so what if I'm just not happy being
Niecy, that's the way we've been framed and like molded to believe like life is about. Like you're supposed to go to college, you're supposed to graduate, you're supposed to get this job, just a little small chunk of something, get married. You're just supposed to work the rest of your life. Like nobody said nothing about happiness. You're just supposed to go.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about your generation and mine is just like, we not doing that. Like we not doing, if it don't make us happy, if it's not fulfilling, and that's literally what they was telling me in the military. Why are you getting out? You're getting literally everything. Anything you need, you're being paid it. And all you gotta do is come here. All you gotta do is play the game.
Right.
And I just was like, yeah, but don't y'all want something more? Don't you want to like smile and like do things that are fulfilling? And don't get me wrong, like serving my country, and you know, I met my husband, I made some lifelong friends, but at the same time, it's just like,
after a while, it's like, what's
when it comes down to the bottom line, when I wake up in the morning, am I running happy to go to work, or am I dragging myself? You know, and even like with teaching, I feel that way as well. Like I just be so happy and excited to get to work and see what these kids gonna try to do today.
Right.
So I really wanted you to talk about that, because you know, you were upset about this job, but instead of just being like, I quit, and just like bumming it out on somebody's couch, it was like you had to make it. Like you had all these, when I tell y'all, Niecy had these jobs.
I had 3 at one time.
She had all these jobs and in school full time, and it's like, but that's adulting. Yeah. Like you make this decision that you don't like this job, even if you just got one job, you don't like this job, you got to figure out how you're gonna get the next job. So you got to apply like crazy. Update your resume. You got to get out there. You got to make these phone calls, follow up calls, make that interview work, because nobody's gonna hand it to you. Nope. So I could just remember I worked at McDonald's, and I was waking up 5 a.m. working 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. I loved the job though. I think I was like 19, and I loved the job because it was like, I'm working so hard and I feel fulfilled in what I'm doing. But that check, I was just like, this it? This is all? And I was working with grown people, with kids. And I'm like, this is what America's giving us for working hard?
And that's not even for dealing with the people who come through the drive-thru, who talk to you crazy.
No, and I think people forget about that with customer service. Like, we're working all these jobs. I did McDonald's, I did Starbucks. I was a children's photographer in the mall, girl. These bad kids, I'm trying to sit them there and do like smile, do all this stuff. And you just trying to make a way. You're just trying to make ends meet. And for me, what was really important for me was like, my parents are paying for everything. They keep paying for stuff. And I'm supposed to be grown. Like, you're supposed to be 18 and out in the world.
Yeah.
So I want to pay for stuff and not have you pay for everything. But I just can't.
That's how it is. That's how it is with my grandpa. My grandpa.
Mine too.
I'm like literally using his words. I'm Papa baby.
Yeah.
And my other cousins don't understand that I'm his favorite, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually they'll catch on. But
Girl.
one time I got to the point where like you said, I'm trying to be an adult. I have to find a way to get gas money if I don't have this money.
Yeah.
And somehow
in Plato's Closet don't be taking all the clothes. I used to go
Right.
to Plato's trying to get me some gas money. What you mean $6 for this shirt? I paid $15.
Somehow he found out. I think I texted my daddy or something and told him like I was trying to find a way to get some gas money, and my grandpa called me and he was like, why you didn't tell me you didn't have no gas money?
Wow.
Like, he was basically yelling at me for not asking him for money, and I was like, I wanted to try to get it by myself, and he was like, you still Papa baby, and I'm like, don't tell me that, because
that's how my papa is. If I even just mention like even my laptop, I was like, it's gonna cost $500. He said, how much? I said, well, never mind.
Don't worry
never mind.
Don't worry about it. That's exactly how he is.
Yeah. But I mean, you could just milk that.
Mm-hmm.
Something stops you from milking that though.
And it's I believe, I don't know, it's just a number of people who you watch in certain situations. Though there is a lot of people who like trying to make ends meet, there are people who made it.
Mm-hmm.
And like my grandpa got married a bunch of times, and he got I'm not gonna say he got a bunch of kids, but he even married women who had kids already. And I was like, my grandpa found a way to do it.
Yeah.
And then growing up, I've had like some of my friends' parents. I don't know if you know the real BB Judy. That's my friend mama.
Oh, okay.
And I knew her before she got famous, and I was just like, she's single, she got 3 kids, she did it.
But you know, it's something about when you have kids, and this is kind of backwards, it's a backwards way of thinking, but when you have kids, it's like you have a fire, like you have a motivation
to do more.
When it's just you, like, and you sit alone with your thoughts, and you sit alone with your dreams and ambitions and goals, and you're like if I had a kid over in the corner that I had to feed, I'd be making YouTube videos like crazy. Because I know, like, I'm gonna make this happen.
I have to do,
But that love that you have to develop, like that self-love that you have to develop for yourself, self-love, it's just, sometimes it'd be kind of hard to just be like, I'm gonna make this happen for me because I deserve and I want to do